Hello there, this is Marcio, and welcome to another episode of Coding with Agents or Cultural Coding with Agents. These are reflections from the day of a builder, a developer, and usually I capture moments, pause whatever that's going on as we go through these agentic AI agentic days, and then I try to pause and record a reflection. Of course, these materials are recorded and available in YouTube at this point. And of course, I store in other places. But the idea, I guess, of course, is to write a document from there. I think that the audience in general are managers, builder slash managers slash builders. All right. So today's situation, let's put in that. Okay. So here's I usually this is the current version of the spaceship that I'm using. All right, and it's basically all right. There's a laptop there, right, and this screen and the agent. And this is, by the way, 5.2 codecs from OpenAI, and they have memos there. But this is Visual Microsoft Visual Code, and it's right now looking at a box. Okay, that's a folder in the computer, right? So sometimes you open the toolbox or the box or your garage. It doesn't really matter, right? You open that and you are there, and we are inside there. So I'm not remotely working here, right? I'm not remotely working. This is the physical thing. This is the box, right? There's no right. I'm here working this thing. So this is my reality right now, right? So this is the box. And just to give an idea, there's code and building process involved here, right? So I'm giving you context there. A building process. There are things inside this box, but there is a specific section, right, that came out from every day working this specific project, right? Let's say this is project XYZ 10. So this specific section in the box are memos. So I usually build and change the things in certain parts of the box by writing memos, right? So this is a memo coding or meta coding through memos. And that's, by the way, that's not different at all. And this is not new. Writers know about these things, and developers also, they know about these things, right? Here it's a space for a conversation. But then this is not a linear conversation. This is a linear conversation. That's a chat, right? This is like talking with a colleague, right? And that's why I use Jarvis. Jarvis, by the way, is Whisperflow, right? Okay. So I have Whisperflow in Jarvis. Okay, I can prove to you if I say hi, for instance, right? Hello there, buddy. How you doing? And then, oh wait, the shortcut is, hello there, buddy. How are you doing? Oh, ooh, the cursor was in a different place. Okay, was in another application. But of course, if I put it here, right? And hello there, buddy. How are you doing? Right? So that's Jarvis. And then I talk, the agent friend, buddy, gives me something. Right? That's the context. Bro, what's new here today? Because memo, it's yesterday's story. Today, right? Because I have mentioned that before. I came, sometimes, right, from the bottoms up reality of coding and building, something happens, right? Even if the manager tops down architecture in OKR, right? From the OKR, let's review that. So, all right. So we have tops down, right? Do that, do this, and then do this, and then do this, and do this. But then whoever is doing, right, that's the manager. So let's say you're the subordinate of yourself. And if you're a subordinate of yourself, right, one day you're like, things are not working. You discover something, right? You have an idea, and then you figure why things are not working. So this is the bottoms up situation, right? Where it takes us to, well, through OKR meetings or reviews or whatever you want, call it whatever you want. This is where, the explosion happens, right? It's friction or it's tension or it's beautiful and something changes, right? That's bottom up. So here, after many memos, some of them had to do with a pattern. When you're doing like a mechanical work and you don't want to do that mechanical work, right? And then today, when I was going to do again, I was able to pause to talk with the buddy, and I said, yeah, hey, by the way, buddy, right? New day, right? By the way, do you know of the style of the memos? You have an idea about the style. Can you check that for me, right? So then the buddy, right, said, yeah, I hear it's the summary. I just checked the last memo that you wrote, Marcio, right? And here's the summary, right? And at that point I said, yeah, do we have a doc pattern on that, right? Because, maybe I don't want to ask that again. So, many people talk about this is like where prompts come from, right? This is it, right? Because, many people say, here's the prompt for something. No, the thing is where the right question is where prompts come from, right? They come from coffee shops, for example. So, and the coffee situation, right? And then the day by day, the bottoms up reality. Call it whatever you want, all right? So then I got the pattern and it gave me an idea and I said, all right, good. So please document as a doc pattern that thing, because we don't have that, right? And somewhere there, well, it's not even there. Oh, actually it is. I don't know where. Yep, you see, doc pattern. I have a doc pattern now. And yeah, very soon I want to give a number to that, right? And then of course the next day you go there and say, hey, buddy, here's, let us start the day, doc pattern 110. Good day. Read that please, and what's the next step, right? That kind of thing. Well, nothing new at all so far.